Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do one of the BookTube Babbles for 2018. So this is for the BookTube SFF awards and their weekly prompts. So this one is SFF reading tips for beginners. So I did think about this, and I've only seen one or two videos so far go up, but I think really what I want to just put out there is a few books that I think are really good starting places for both science fiction and fantasy, and just some of the ones that either I read when I was young or just getting into it, or they're ones I've discovered along the way that I think are good starting places if you're new to those genres, and there were easy reads, or they're ones that were captivating enough that I think that anybody would like to read them, whatever your reading taste was beforehand. So we'll just go through. I have a couple science fiction ones first. I am still trying to get into more science fiction. I've read a little bit here and there through the years. I need to read more, but and most of the stuff that I've read has been kind of older science fiction that I read for reading groups, for book clubs and stuff. So I was trying to think of something that was more that I've read recently that I think would be really fun to get into. One of them is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. I think this is a great, easy start to one to get into science fiction, because I would consider it more of a light science fiction. It has all the elements of being in space and aliens and conflicts that way, but it's also a really good character story. And it may not have as much plot as I would like, but I think overall it still is really a fun ride, and it was really an easy read. And again, I haven't read the second book yet, but I am going to get picked that up pretty soon. But I found that this was really fun, and I know a lot of people love this book, and I think it's a great introduction to science fiction. Another one that I read this last year, is 6 Wakes by Merlafity. I thought this was great if you are a mystery lover and want to get into science fiction. This is a great entry, because this talks about, it's like a mystery, and it's pretty much a closed room mystery in space, and it has to do with 6 clones. Well, people, they wake up having been cloned because they all died. So it's an awesome space one. I really like the mystery in it, and the characters were all very fascinating, had huge back histories, and interesting way of doing the mystery. I like this. So I thought for a science fiction, if you like mysteries, this is a good one to try out. Then I'm going to go into some fantasies. Now again, fantasy is definitely one of my best loves. I've been reading it for many years, and it's probably one of the reasons why I became such a reader was a lot of the fantasy that I read. I mean, mysteries were huge there too, don't get me wrong. That was really the first, but then I found fantasies, and it kind of exploded from there. So I'm going to show you a couple that I read when I was younger. So one that I would think would be a really good entry point for someone who wants to just get into classic fantasy. So, the young boy who pretty much has to save the world kind of thing, would be the David Eddings, the Bulgarian series, and the Mullerian is the one. Well, is that how you say it? I don't remember how to say the second series. Anyway, it's a 10-book series, 5 books in each of the main series, and then there's like 3 or 4 books that come afterwards. But the first series, the Bulgarian series, is just I really love these books. I reread them several times. I read them when I was in high school, and again, I've read them probably at least 4 or 5 times, the whole series all the way through. Like, I take a week or two and I'll just read all 10 books in a row. I think, again, they're very classic, but they're very light. But there's so many different societies in here and all of them live in the the area, so they're all different, and they all they've gods and things that affect how they worship and how their society's built around them, and then of course there's the main the prophecy part of it. But I love these. I just think they're so cute. I love those books. Anyway, another one that I read about the same time was Tad Williams and the Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn series. Now, again, this is a chunker, and the whole series is pretty long, but I think it's a good series if you're getting just into fantasy, as I said, because it's a very classic one, and it's one that a lot of people nowadays who are writing fantasies call back to say this is one of the ones that they read when they were younger and that they aspired to. So I love this series. As I said, luckily he is continuing on with the series, but the first 3 books, of course, are out in the Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn series. You can read those. And again, I read those when I was younger and just loved them, and I've read them several times. But I think, I just said, they're long. If you wanted more of a commitment, this would be it. But I still love these, and I think they're very classic. I think everybody should read them. And then one that I think if you want humor, I would definitely go Terry Pratchett and the Discworld series. So I've read almost all of them. I'm still actually, I admit I kind of slowed down when I heard that he was ill, or, you know, had Alzheimer's, and then I kind of stopped when I knew he wasn't going to be having any books, and then we lost him, of course. So I have like about 3 or 4 at the end that I have not read yet, but I've read most of the other series. I binge read them a couple of, probably about 10 years ago now. I read all the way up, you know, I caught up, and it was awesome. Maybe it wasn't that long ago. It was a long time ago, felt like it. Anyway, so this is probably not 10 years ago. I think I'm exaggerating. Anyway, but these are great. And again, a lot of them are pretty short at the beginning, and then they kind of get a little bigger, but I think they're fun. And again, he has a lot of social commentary in there too, but it's real. The Discworld is just a funny place where everything is just slightly, it's like a fantasy change to the world that we know it, and it just changes, he just changes little things, but they're really cool to find those little Easter eggs in there. And I love these books. My favorite ones is actually the Guards. Those are the books that I enjoy the most, like Guards, and Men at Arms, and The Night Watch, and I know there's another one. Those are my favorite. I love all the Carrot and Vimes, and those ones are all my favorite people. They're awesome. Anyway, but there are other series in there, and you can, as I said, I would recommend reading them in order personally, just because they were more fun that way for me. Because they built a little bit, not like on each other, because again, there's so many series. I just start with Rincewind and go on with the Color of Magic. And then I'm going to bring up one urban fantasy. I looked at my books and I really thought about that. I'm like, I think urban fantasies are something that you either really want to read or you want to get into, or I don't know, would be an easy one to enter into. And I'm just going to bring up one of my favorites because I think they're short books. Now, again, the book I'm going to show here right now is a bind-up of 3, but the point is every book is like maybe 250 pages, so they're really quick reads. I think they're not overly done with description, but you just get sucked into this world because it is so fascinating. Being an urban fantasy, it's, you know, a twist of the world. So I'm going to go with the Nightside series by Simon R. Green. I love these books. Something from the Nightside is the first one. As I said, this is a bind up, so it has the first 3 books in it. But they're all really short. They're all right there. So they're all really short books, but they're just little nuggets of fun. And again, it has to do with the world where there's an alternate London called the Nightside, which it's always 3 a.m. and you can buy and sell anything for a price. And you can pretty much, it could be anything, and it's pretty scary sometimes in that way. But I love the main character, and I love all his friends, his weird friends, and I love the way the series wrapped up. So this one's actually another done series, so it's like, oh, it'll be nice. So anyway, so those are kind of just some options. I don't know, I mean, reading tips, I was trying to think how to change this to be that, but I really want to just say, just jump in. I think there's so many books out there that if you don't like them, pick something else, but pick something that other people have talked about or you've seen, or the premise gets to you, or try it. And again, use your library if you don't want to spend the money, but there are just so many books out there. I really think everybody should be reading science fiction and fantasy. So anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.